Hey guys. Okay, here we are again. I said I was going to try and make a video once a week on this, and so I shall. I'm just going to move it a little bit this way, maybe you can see better. Okay, so I'm doing a video Q&A series on homeschooling. From my perspective, what I've learned over the years, I get a lot of questions from people on homeschooling. I thought if I made a video series, then people could share it and get some answers from a person who's been homeschooling for a long time's perspective. Okay, I'm a mommy of 3. I homeschool all my children. My oldest is 17, turning 18 this year, and first year of varsity this year. And I'm just going to share with you some of the questions that I get asked and the answers from my perspective. And today, the question is, that I get all the time, is what curriculum am I going to use? And the answer that I have, that I've been doing, hi Taste, how are you? Is that the way that we homeschool, and remember everybody unschools, homeschools, whatever you want to call it, differently, according to their family situation, according to what they have access to, according to the learning styles of their children. So everybody does it differently, but in our home, we don't replicate school at home. So we don't take the school system and plonk it at home and do it at home. We don't do that at all. So we have an entirely a different approach to some people for homeschooling, but a lot of people do school this way. So what we do as far as curriculum goes is always remembering that life is learning. So every experience, every opportunity, everything that happens to you and us in our home, in our life, is a learning experience. And I always say to people, the first question they always ask is, what curriculum am I going to use when I'm teaching my children at home? And I say, first of all, every single child, every single person has a totally different learning style. Some people love books and reading and getting information out of books. Some people enjoy learning by doing, by building, by making. Some people learn by following other people around and watching what they're doing. So it's very important to be able to see what kind of learning style your child has. And the very nice thing about homeschooling is that because you're with them all the time, because you know them very, very well, and you understand them and you can read them and see, it's easy to tell because you're with them all the time. So, for example, my little boy, he learns by building. He will go and he will build a whole treehouse outside. But what we do is we feed him with what he needs. So if he's building a treehouse outside, then we will say, right, you're going to build a treehouse. What do you need to build the treehouse? Come, let's write down what we're going to need. We can go get it from the shop. Work out what you're going to need to build that treehouse. And then he will do a sketch of the treehouse, and he will label it, and he will write down what he needs to build the treehouse. And then I will say, but I only have a budget of this much money, so you've got to make it work with that much money. So, or let's go look at the junkyard and see what we can pick up from the junkyard. So, and then we'll go, and then he'll go and get the stuff, and he'll work out how much it will cost and how much money he has left and what he needs to spend. And then he'll come back and he'll build it and he'll measure it and he'll see what works and what doesn't work. And all of that, think of how much stuff this child is learning. Okay, he's learning how to plan. He's learning how to draw up a sketch. He's learning how to label a sketch. He's learning how to get resources from junkyards and other places and work with a budget and working with money. And then he's learning how to build, learning from his mistakes, learning think of the amount of things the child is learning from doing that. He does not want to sit inside and write about a treehouse in his maths book. He would rather build the treehouse. And the amount that he's learning from building the treehouse is massive. Okay, massive. And we are stuck in this way of thinking where we think, in the system, he has to sit and work it out in a book. And it's not necessarily like that, because you learn a lot from life. A lot from life. So that's the first thing I say is know your child, know their learning style, know how they want to learn, know what stimulates them when they're wanting to learn. And the second thing is that you do get children who like learning from books, and they want to learn from books, and they're very, you know, like my middle child is like that. She wants to know what everyone is learning, and she wants to make sure that she knows exactly what they know and more. And she loves the books, and when she gets a book, and here's my boy now. Come here, Joe. What? I'm just talking about you. This is Joe. Joe, what's this?
Nails.
What are you doing, boy?
I was making a metal go-kart. Welding one.
He's welding a metal go-kart. I was just talking about you, boy. he's welding a metal go-kart outside. That's his curriculum today. So, yes, we need to change our thinking a bit, Chantal. That's exactly it. Totally change our way of thinking. But at the same time, I say to people, he's putting on his boots now. It's going to go well. I say to people, you know, there is a lot of value in... Bye, Joey. I'll see you just now. Be careful. Careful. There's a lot of value in children realizing that sometimes they do need to be sitting down, and they do need to be doing things. They do need to be working through a process and doing things, even though they might not like it. Like, I make him sit and do that list of what he's going to buy, and doing that is him learning. Okay, and as I was saying before, sorry, there's a baby over there trying to get out. Just wait, give me 1 second. Sorry, I was distracted. Sorry. Okay. My middle child, she loves books. She loves learning through books. She loves being stimulated by books. And for her, it's very exciting to get workbooks and to learn from the workbooks and sit and she works out her own schedule, and she wants to, you know, at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock she wants to do an hour of maths, and she wants to do that, and she loves that, and that stimulates her, and so I feed her with that. As far as curriculum goes, what I do for her, because that's her learning style and that's what she enjoys, is just to help her relax, and sometimes the mommy to relax, because they're the ones who have the issues of them needing the books because we're stuck in the system ourselves, is I go and I just get the books that the other kids are doing in her grade, the maths books, the English books, and I give them to her as a baseline, and she works through them in like 5 seconds, you know, because there's not much, you know, it takes quicker when she's working, she's interested, and then I get a whole lot of other books and juice it up, you know, and when she gets excited about something, and for example, if she starts reading about the brain, then she gets excited and she wants to know more and more and more and more, and then I just go with the flow and I feed her as much info as she wants on the brain, and then we go and get them and she dissects them, and then she does like lap books on them, and she fills a whole wall with pictures, and we find information and YouTube videos on it, and just until she's just learned as much as she wants to about that, and that is just feeding her interest. Okay, so that's the middle child. That's how she works, and I'm trying to feed her. I'm trying to make sure that I provide her with everything she needs to stimulate her and feed her passion and her interest. How do you identify their learning styles? Oh no, well, identifying their learning styles is just by being with them and watching them and giving them a whole lot of different things to do, and seeing what they love and what they don't love, seeing where they work well and where they don't work well. Because, like, example for my boy, if he was in school, they would probably say to him, they would say, please put your child on Ritalin. He asks too many questions and he is moving around too much. So we need to calm him down so he can sit with everybody and calm down. You see, so, but he's just active and he wants to move around and he doesn't like sitting still and he wants to learn in a different way. There's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with his concentration, because when he's building something, he will sit for hours and he will focus and he will build and he will design things on SketchUp and he will, so you just give them opportunity to see where they get stimulated and excited and when they want to learn. And that is another most wonderful thing about homeschooling, is that you can do that and feed their passions. So it is difficult because you've got to watch and see and feed them with what they need and stimulate them in areas where they are stimulated. But, oh, wow, I can't tell you how well it has worked in our home and how content my kids are and how stimulated they are. So that's why the answer for curriculum is a difficult way to answer, because sometimes people say, no, you must use this curriculum and these books and this, and all they're thinking of in the lines of the system and school and the books. They're not thinking of the wider picture of everything is a curriculum. When we go to the shop, we're learning. When we are planting seeds, we're learning. Everything is, life is your curriculum, But what I do in my home, and it's beautiful and it works and has worked so far, is I always say to myself, what do I want for my children in their lives? What do I want them to feel like and achieve and what do I want for them as adults? And that helps keep everything in check on what we're doing. And I always think, I want them to be excited about learning. I want them to be excited about learning. I want them to want to learn stuff. I don't want them to think, oh, I don't want to learn, this is so boring. Ooh, please, no more. I don't want that. I want them to be excited. I want them to see something and go, hey, I want to know how that works. Or, oh, Mummy, what about this? What is that? I want them to be excited. Okay, so number one, excited. So they want to learn. Number two, when they want to learn, how do they get that information? So I want to teach them how to find information when they're excited So they're excited to learn and they know how to get the information. So I show them lots of different ways of getting information. I show them, look, you can get it from books, you can get it from going and visiting the place, you can get the information from doing the thing, you can get the information from following somebody and copying them, you can get the information from the internet, you can get the information from videos, and I show them all the different kinds of methods and ways that you can feed yourself and find information. And then, Joey, shh, he's plonking around his boots. Walk softly, boy. And then, and having done that, so they're excited and they know where to get the information. But very importantly is how to discern. So they have 100 places to get info from, but you can't believe everything that you read and see. And you can't just blindly trust a person who's telling you something or showing you something without questioning. So I teach them how to discern. Can we trust the source? How do you trust a source? What you need to check for to make sure that this is a source that you can trust? Should we be asking questions? If this person says something to me, must I just believe them? Must I go and check what they've just said and just make sure and back it up? So it's wanting to learn how to get the information and discerning between the information of what to believe and what not to believe. Okay, and then there are two more things that I want them to know and that I'm trying to teach them with all my heart. And the last two things are self-discipline. Okay, they're not learning and all of these things because they're going to get in trouble, and they have to, and they're going to get detention, and they're going to get grounded. They're not learning because they have to learn. I want them to learn because they want to learn. And did I say self-discipline or did I say it was self-discipline? So instead of being made to do it, they need to learn how to stick by a project or continue when it's difficult or finish it right to the end instead of giving up halfway. So I try and teach them that. Figure things out. Sometimes it's difficult and you've got to push through until you get to the end and find it out. You can't just give up things straight away or quickly. So self-discipline is an amazing thing that everyone needs to know. As an adult, as a child, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do and have self-discipline when there's nobody standing behind you with a whip telling you have to. You just say, right, I have to do this, and I'm going to do it, and no one's making me. So I try and teach them that, and so far, it's working. I mean, so self-discipline. And then the last one is questioning. Yes, a valuable skill, Chantal, to learn is questioning things. And then the last one is, so we've got self-discipline, is to be able to motivate themselves. So self-motivation. And now that's 5 things that I've told you about. And I find those 5 things are probably the most important things in our life curriculum for us. Self-motivation is massive because often you doing something, it's difficult, you want to give up, you're tired, you overwhelmed, and you don't want to carry on. So teaching them how to motivate themselves, how to motivate themselves when there's nobody there going, come on, you can do it, finish, come, standing there all the time, come on, motivate themselves, like take a deep breath and say, okay, no, see the light at the end of the tunnel, give them short-term goals, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to be happy, and then at the end, this is going to happen. So teaching them how to think that way of motivating themselves. And we all struggle with that. I know I do, because there's lots of things happening, and sometimes you get demotivated, but you've got to just learn how to look around you and see the value in people and the value in things, and something that makes you want to just carry on going. So those are the 5 things in our curriculum that we learn at home. When people ask me about curriculum, that's what I say. As far as books go, there's so many books if you're talking about books and curriculums, and as far as if you're just talking books in your curriculum, which a lot of people think that that's what it means, then obviously you would get books and show them to the kids and see which ones stimulate them, because you get different kinds of books and which ones they would want to do and which ones interest them, those are the 5 most important things that we do in our curriculum. And then lastly, I know this is a long video, but there's so much to say. Now, what if you say, but my child wants to be a doctor, and so they need to go to university to be a doctor, and if they're just building tree houses, then they have no matric, and they cannot get into the university. Okay, so answering that question, which is, I might do a whole other video on that because it's massive, the answer, but I'm just going to tell you what we do, and we are doing, is often it's nice to teach them a whole rounded view of what is going on in the world. So, you stimulate them with geography and history and general knowledge of the world, biology, science, feeding them with all of this interesting information so that they have a well-rounded view of everything. But then quite soon, yes, Tara?
Plants.
I don't know where they are. Quite soon you can see which ones they are interested in, and the ones that they want to go further with. Quite soon you can see that, depending on the child. And we, in our home, both my oldest daughters are very academic, and the one wants to be an environmental lawyer, which is nice for me, because I need that. The world needs them. And so she wants to study. So she's, in her mind, she's 13, she's decided, I want to go to university, I want to study environmental law. What subjects, Mom? What subjects do I need? I want to get my matric. What's the best method? And we go and we research it, and she's doing the Cambridge curriculum, and she wants to know how many points because she wants to go to university. That's her, that's her asking for that. So then that's what we do. That's what we're doing. She's going to do the Cambridge curriculum. She's going to do external exams, send it out to be marked, get the marks back, get her points, apply to go to university, which you can do when you're homeschooling, because there are a lot of curriculums that are accepted by universities. If it still ends up like that in our home as far as she goes and university, but that's what she wants for now, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're helping her do. Just so that if she wants to go to varsity, the option is there. She's got enough points in the system, and that's what she's chosen. So next video I'm going to talk to you about my oldest daughter, and because it's too long, and something to inspire you and encourage you. We're going to be talking about universities and other options and things like that. So as far as curriculum goes, those are my 5 points. I'm going to write them at the bottom so that you can remember them. And I hope this helped. I hope this helped with curriculum. It is difficult thinking out of the box. I understand that. I was trapped in the system myself too, and struggled to sort of open my mind. There are some people whose minds are open already before they even have kids. But the average human who's been in the system, it takes time to think out of it. But I don't regret it for a second. My children are stimulated and learning and excited about life and about learning. And that's the advice that I have for someone who asks me that question. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching, guys.